Welcome to the African Agenda, where we delve into the critical issues shaping our continent's future. Today, we turn our attention to environmental, social, and governance principles, or ESG, a framework that has become essential in guiding sustainable and ethical business practices globally. The genesis of ESG can be traced back to the early 2000s, with a pivotal role played by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. In 2004, Annan invited over 50 CEOs of major financial institutions to join an initiative that would integrate ESG into capital markets. He emphasized, the idea is to align the incentives of the business community with those of the broader society. ESG in Africa, and specifically in Malawi, has become increasingly significant. As our continent faces unique environmental and social challenges, the adoption of ESG principles offers a path to sustainable development. In Malawi, initiatives are underway to incorporate ESG into various sectors, from agriculture to energy. Key ESG statistics highlight the importance of these principles in Africa. According to a 2023 report, 65% of African companies have started integrating ESG factors into their operations. In Malawi, 70% of businesses acknowledge the importance of ESG, with 50% actively implementing strategies to address environmental and social issues. Despite progress, Africa grapples with key questions on ESG. How can we ensure that ESG frameworks are tailored to the specific needs and contexts of African countries? What are the best practices for balancing economic growth with environmental stewardship? How can African nations leverage ESG to attract investment and drive inclusive development? Today, we will explore these questions and more, examining how ESG can be a catalyst for a prosperous and resilient Africa. This is the African Agenda. Let's dive in. Well, today we are at Malawi's first ever ESG Integration and Investment Forum at the Bingu International Convention Center, BICC, which is being hosted by Inote Creative Solutions. And we're going to be diving into issues surrounding ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance factors, and looking at businesses and investment and Africa, and where we're going with this new, but not so new, but kind of new, and we're looking at Africa and coming down to Malawi concept that we need to jump into and catch on. So we've got people here with us that are definitely going to help us unravel this, understand it better. And we've got, of course, Dr. Phiri and Norah Nsanja. I'm going to ask you both to quickly introduce yourselves and the organizations you're coming from and what you get up to.
My name is Phiri. I'm the president of MCCCI, which is the Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry. And I'm also founder and managing director for Spark Systems Limited, which is an ICT company operating in Africa, in 10 countries in Africa. Of course, physically, we are in Phiri, which is Malawi 2 offices, Zambia 2 offices, and Kigali in Rwanda.
And then the rest we're working.
The rest are virtual offices. So yeah, we push solutions, we collaborate with others in those countries, but our solutions are going to all those countries.
Well, I can't wait to hear from you and what you've got to bring to the table as well. Norah, please give us a bit about what you get up to.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Norah Nsanja, currently head of legal and governance at Standard Bank in Malawi, but I'm also the sustainability champion for Standard Bank in Malawi. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, the both of you.
Thank you.
Now, let's start by understanding ESG. As I said earlier on, this is still something that Malawi is trying to adopt. Africa is also still trying to adopt, understanding why this is important, why it's significant for businesses to pay any attention. Because, hello, we've been doing just fine, thank you. And then it's this new thing that we need to integrate into our businesses, a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things. So let's start by what ESG is. What does that mean?
Thank you very much. Environmental, social, and governance, ESG. So that word, as it appears with the three, was first used, believe it or not, 20 years ago by the United Nations General Secretary, then Mr. Kofi Annan, when he was calling on business players, particularly in the financial sector, to take a leading role on environmental and social governance matters as it relates to their businesses. So in the business context and in what we have been discussing today and through tomorrow, ESG refers to the way in which businesses integrate environmental and social and governance factors into their day-to-day business operations. I mean, historically, business are known for profits.
Yes.
So ESG has brought in a twist to that, if you've heard of a term called triple bottom line. So there are 3 Ps now. You're looking at your profits, you're looking at your planet, which is the environment, and then you're looking at your people, which is the social. And all these need to be integrated into how you're doing your business. So in short, I think that's what I can say ESG is.
So this is really looking outside yourself, and that's, as a business, an external lens to see what you can do beyond, like you said, making a profit, which comes back to the business. But now we're saying, how does this affect the world we're living in, the actual earth itself? How does it affect the people that we're working with? And also looking at issues surrounding policy, right?
Yeah, but there's also another twist to that, maybe that I should mention, is what they're calling double materiality from an ESG perspective. So to break it down in layman's terms, is what you're saying is looking at how the environment and the people are affecting our business. But as a business, so you're doing that introspect. So you also go out and say, what are we doing as a business to affect the environment and the people? So it's a two-way street on both sides when you're looking at ESG.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. That's already exciting in itself. Looking at CSR, though, what's the difference in that case? Because already organizations have been giving back and doing so much. What's so different when we put in relation with ESG?
Thank you very much. So you said it right. CSR is giving back. So it is not internal to your business. We've made our money, we're taking 1% or 2% or 10% of our profits, we're giving back into the community. That's external to you, and that is CSR. We're not saying CSR is bad, but what we're saying is you need to then integrate those environmental and social aspects into the actual business that you're doing. So that becomes part of your DNA as a business. Dr. Wisely will tell you he's in the business, obviously, to grow his business and to make money. So in that same way, that is how you now start looking at these ESG factors in your business.
Now, anything new and also just implementation in general will cost you something. What has the investment been like, or shall I even say, is it enough so far, investment into ESGs as you have come? Because you're looking, and I'm talking about Dr. Wisely here, personally, your organization works in many countries, like we said, 10, and you've got experience there and in Malawi as well. Has there been enough investment into ESGs from your perspective?
I think what I can say when you talk about investment will never be enough as long as people are there. People will always want more. So to say what is enough, I know it will never be enough. But what I can say is, as of now, we don't have enough investment in ESGs. I think corporates have been looking at it, governments and corporates have been looking at it as if it's something that is more or less like imposed on us. When you look at it, I think for Africa, and Malawi in particular, we're just trying to survive by the end of the day to see the next day. So many problems. then for companies to look at the ESGs, you find that necessarily they will just throw them there. But like Norah said, these are supposed to be part of our DNA. If you want to push in the investments into the country, this is a global village. People out there, they are looking into these metrics and see how are you performing.
Yes.
If they are coming into the country, we need to have a way of having more like maybe even a dashboard. Okay, recording what we're doing in terms of ESGs. That's way now you can push in most of these investors coming in. And when we're looking at investment, unfortunately, in most of the countries, we normally looking at people from outside coming into the country to invest.
I was actually going to ask that who gets to invest? Who are the investors?
So when you look at the investors, for me, the three kind of investors.
And this is investment into ESG.
Yes.
Yes.
So the investors from outside coming in,
Yes.
you're talking about carbon credits and all that, they're coming into the country. Then again, you're looking at the government side. Okay, government is much into the social aspect of life, trying to help people from out there. They are not much into the profit side of it. So maybe to government comes a bit natural because of how they are made.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about the private sector, we've been there for profits, unfortunately. From day one, if you're in the private sector, you have to make money. You have to pay your bills. Otherwise, you're not a government where you wait on some taxpayer to pay, then you've got money. You don't have. So most of the investments in terms of the private sector, I think, haven't been much into ESGs. They have been there just to make money. But these are the things like she mentioned in terms of CSRs and ESGs. These are things that you literally need just to change it a bit and you'll be able to be there. I'd given an example on some of the investments that we've made as PAC. As an example, on the school blocks in the village, we decided, as we're giving back to this community, when you're talking about terms of SGs, you necessarily not talking about CSR. You're talking about the shared value. What value are you bringing to these people there? Yeah. So when we're looking at this, we have to look at what problems do the people in the villages have. After identifying the problems, then we decided, okay, can we put school blocks here and desks and all that? But are they environmental friendly? Then we decided, can we put blocks, although the whole place had bent bricks. So in terms of that, actually, we've enforced the mindset.
Yes.
So we've put very nice school blocks that everyone talks about them. And we used people from there teaching them how to make the blocks. So they were locals. After they had made the blocks, they built, like we had to just send the foreman to just help them to do the works. So after that is done, now you've seen the thinking behind changes now.
Yeah.
Now they look, okay, the bricks are expensive. Okay, they take a lot of time.
Yes.
Then we bring in the environment side of it. Actually, you're destroying the environment.
I love that.
So the mindset changes.
In that sense, able to show how we could still do good and still be within the ESGs, right? That's implementation in itself, integration.
Exactly.
You were able to show it on a local level and involving them as well to say, okay, this is what it looks like. And when we look at Standard Bank, the work that you're doing, how have you been able to integrate ESG in the work that you do?
For me, when you're talking about investing in ESG, who's supposed to invest in ESG? One of the questions that quickly comes to mind is when you're entering into a business, even if you ask him, when he was setting up his business, he was not setting up his business to end within the next 5 or 10 years.
Yes.
It's a long-term process when you're setting up a business. So what are those things that drive or impede on the long-term successes? That is when at the onset of any business, so who's supposed to invest in ESG, it's any business that intends on long-term success. That should be the first beck and call of their business decision right at the onset if they are going to succeed in the long term. So what are we doing as Standard Bank in terms of implementing ESG? Our purpose as Standard Bank is very simple. Malawi is our home and we drive her growth. So how do we drive Malawi's growth? We look at those things that matter to Malawi. We've got three strategic value drivers. Client experience, I had said client experience will transforming client experience. We're looking at our customers and we're looking at our employees, and that is the social in ESG. And then we're looking at operating with excellence and risk and conduct, and that is the environmental and the governance in ESG. So for us, ESG as Standard Bank then ultimately gives us the money, which is what we're here for. So we drive sustainable value in terms of two things. We get our profits at Standard Bank, which are well known. People complain we're making billions, but it's because we factored in ESG. And then the second and most important one is the positive impact that we're doing on the communities in which we are operating in. So we're very clear in terms of what we're doing around sustainability from Standard Bank's point of view, right from our strategic drivers. Yeah.
Now, we're having this conversation on the sidelines of the ESG Malawi conference. Both of you have come in as speakers, of course, also participating as you're here listening. How has the conference been so far? What value do you think this kind of conversation brings to our nation as you see it?
I can start. For me, it has been very enriching, and one of the things that you learn when you embark on an ESG journey is always be willing and open to learn from others within your industry. And this forum is one of those that has really spoken truth to that statement. Because, for example, listening to Dr. Wisely speak around the role that tech plays in driving sustainability forward, and then looking at the role that we financial sectors do in driving sustainability forward. And then we also had someone from government, MITC, speak in terms of the role that policy plays. So if we can be able to collaborate just within those three effectively, I think there's a lot of good that can come out of Malawi if we continue with such conversations.
Dr. Wisely, looking at the opportunities and the challenges, this is a good thing to do. It's where the world is going, and I love that you brought up the whole this phrase itself came up 20 years ago, so it's been a while. But what are the challenges across Africa, in your opinion, in terms of integrating ESGs?
There are a number of challenges, and the fortunate or unfortunate part.
Fortunate challenge.
Exactly. Okay, I come from the tech sector, so
Yes.
where the challenges for me, the opportunities. So that's what I'm saying is the fortunate or unfortunate part. If there are no challenges, then I will not invest in anything. I will not be innovative. That's why most of the times, actually, I say, when I've gone to these other countries, they will ask, are you from Malawi? How did you manage to do this from Malawi? Are you guys that developed? But where you're coming from, if there are all those challenges, they create opportunities.
Yes.
So as an innovator in the tech sector, you come up with so many other things. So there are a number of challenges. Like I've said even part of my presentations, when you're talking, maybe let's look at governance side in the ESG. The governance side, you're looking within the organizations to say how fast are you making your decisions, but you need data out of it.
Yes.
Then you're looking at the governance in terms of the policies within governments. In terms of the government side policies, they are normally not talking to each other. You find you've got one policy here that when you read in silo, it's making sense. If you look at the other policy, it's doing the opposite of it. So when you're having a function like this, where you're having these policy makers in government, we have a chance to talk with people from the banking sector, we have us in the tech sector, then we're sitting down and looking at what challenges are we having? Why are we not integrating these systems? If you want to provide the social aspect to your people, how connected are you to the people? Are you able to get that feedback back, quantify, you have dashboards so that you can make your decisions out of it?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about that, for us now, those are opportunities.
Yes.
What can we create? What dashboard systems? What metrics? Out of the Malawi, out of the 20 million people, can we do a bit of data analytics there? So that's what I'm saying is the unfortunate or fortunate part of the issues that are coming out.
You've spoken there, I guess, plenty opportunity, especially for those that are innovators, which is great. And I want us to now look into the future and trends within ESG. what are we looking like the next 5 to 10 years? Where are we going?
So for me, when I'm looking at ESG and as we're moving into the future, one is that investor decisions are going to be focused mainly on sustainability. So people are going to invest more in companies or entities that have a sustainability agenda attached to it.
Yeah.
Why? For the same reason, investment is a long-term business strategy. So you'd want to have that long-term aspect locked in. The second one, when I'm looking into the future, is the future leaders that we have, and this is the next generation that is coming up, the Gen Zs and them likes. Those are people where their motivation, if you look at them now, goes beyond money. This is a generation that's questioning why.
Yes.
There's too much whys that are coming in, and businesses need to be able to answer those whys in a way that makes sense to them. And this is a future that I'm seeing as we move along. And that will also apply to the customers, because these are the same customers that we will be serving. And they'll be asking the why. Why should I bank with you? Why should I use your services? Why should I do that? And we should be able to answer those whys in a way that makes sense to them.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ah, man, the level of exposure to information right now, that's so key, because the generation now truly is getting in touch. They're aware. Their conscience is really high, and they know not to just get into anything. So they are asking questions, and that's a key point there. Yes.
Yeah, for me, she's already explained a lot. But in terms of the technology side, when you look into the future, I think part of the future is already here. It's just that I think we should be able to look at it and start implementing. Like I had given an example of Malawi being an agricultural nation, and now government is talking about the ATM, which is agriculture, mining, and yeah. So when you're talking about that agriculture aspect of it, already government is trying to move away from fertilizer subsidies, which I don't know if they will move because it's political decisions, but they are going into the mega farms. When you're talking about the mega farms, the resources that you're putting in to get the output that you're getting out, are they sustainable?
Yes.
Are they environmentally friendly? Those are the things that you should be looking at. So, for example, as of now, you'll find that in the agricultural sector, what we've used to know is once the maize reaches this height, put this type of fertilizer, it reaches this height, put type of this fertilizer, and then maybe just water that garden in the morning, afternoon, or evening. But technologically now, what people are looking at is, can we have what is called precision agriculture?
Yes.
Can we measure to say this soil now needs this amount of water? So that it should be sustainable and environmental friendly. What type of fertilizer are we pushing in? So those are part of the technological side that are coming in. You talk about maybe even the e-health. If someone you having, okay, so where government has been is building these hospitals across, or even you talk about the banking sector, was to have these branches across. And now when you want to manage them, where they've been coming from, Airtel will have a tower there. That tower will be using generator. Then there will be the guards going there, back and forth. Then using all this fuel, destroying the environment. It's still a percentage, though you might say it's not that much. But where we're going now on the e-health system, we're talking about maybe someone in Chitipa be able to talk to someone at the hospital, which is at central or whatever. The doctor being able to diagnose and coming all this. This is the direction where we're going. Then we're talking about the same e-health, the way my watch can collect data out of this. And we should be able to integrate with these medical schemes and be able to know if I haven't gone to the gym for the past maybe 1 year, and then my bill should come a bit high. So all this data, we're supposed to process, analyze it, and make decisions out of it. That's the direction where we're going. So if you're looking at the investors, these are the things that should be coming in. Otherwise, if you compare where we're coming and where we are, I would say the story of Nokia. Nokia was way big, but were they reinvesting? Were the decisions sustainable? Like she said, when you're starting a company today, you have to ask yourself, will you be there in these years to come? So we should be able to look, generative AI has come in and disrupted a lot of things.
Oh, yes.
So where are we going? Are we able to look into the future and see, will I still be there? So for me, we can predict the future by looking at exactly what is happening now.
Now, someone's saying, okay, I get what you're saying, I understand. Now I feel that I need to step into this space as well. Where do I begin? As a small business or a business that's already full-blown and they're growing and they're looking also maybe to expand, because at the end of the day, we're talking sustainability, longevity, just because they've taken on the ESG as their new lens. Where do they begin?
I've seen the doc is looking at me.
You have to mention Rigari first before going to the technology.
All right.
Yeah, so I was about to say, from a legal point of view, I think we already have the legal framework that incorporates sustainability from the Companies Act. And also, if you look at the Companies Act, corporate governance regulations, and the Malawi Code, blah, blah, blah. But all those are there. But I think this forum, for me, is the starting point. It's brought in a lot of players together. And what then needs to happen from here on out is we need to have a sustainable forum where people can now share knowledge.
Yes.
And people now have a database within which, where do I get this information from? Yes, I'm supposed to have an ESG risk management framework. How do I go about getting that ESG risk management framework? And maybe that's when Sparks comes in with giving us that database, that platform where we can plug in and then help depending on the size of business that you have.
I love that. So already we must be proactive, or the person that's thinking, yes, I don't want to be left behind on this because they shouldn't, is be proactive now, looking for the information and also getting connected to spaces like these. And we move on to technology.
Yeah, okay, just to add on what she said. So data is really growing at a really faster pace. And when you look at how data has been growing, and to make sense of what is coming out is really a problem. So as a start, forums like this are maybe one good way to start.
Yes.
Then the other part is in terms of analytics, how we can manage our data, process it, and be able to show it out. I think, like I said before, Malawi will be in a bit of an issue in terms of reporting. I think we, as companies, as well as the government, they're doing most of the stuff. Maybe it's just the packaging and the reporting out. Then, on top of that is the collaboration part of it. So if a newcomer is coming in, it depends at what level they are coming in. Because again, when we talk about these systems, the innovation and all that, they're not that cheap. That's where we come in, trying to reduce the cost. Like I had given an example that if you want to digitize and move from paper-based, maybe you're conscious about the environment and all that, buying the systems, the servers and all that, they're not that cheap. For a newcomer, it's more SME. Maybe for a bank, it's something that can be managed. So we're looking at it to say, can we package in a way where we run the cloud infrastructure so that when these guys are coming in, we move away from the capex side. So maybe you're supposed to buy at 500 million kwacha as an example. We can package at the capex side when you go down to about 500,000 kwacha. So that's where we come in terms of the technology, trying to have everyone on board. So if someone's failing to come on board, it's their own decisions. It's not that idea is expensive.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. So good. That's freeing. I'll have you give your last remarks. Norah, I'll start with you.
The key to this journey is partnership and collaboration. You can't be on this journey alone. So it is interesting that we've got government, the private sector, and the tech sector, because the tech sector is key to the future that we're going. So let's continue to collaborate. Let's continue to help each other and carry each other along on this journey. Thank you.
So good.
Our job is to provide an enabling environment, the enablers. Government will provide the environment, but for us, we're supposed to provide the enablers. So tech is an enabler for everything. And we've jumped on it. We're developing systems for analytics. We're developing systems for automations. We're developing so many systems, even for collaborations, if you want to work together, a number of people from different offices. Just one of the examples we've just implemented across the countries that we operate in for collaborations using IP-based communication. So I'm not even paying an extra amount on top of my internet. So tech side, we are there. We able to do most of the stuff. And we more than willing to partner with everyone. Like she said, the future is collaborations. You can't do everything yourself.
I thank you both for your insights and looking forward to hearing more stories and success stories, especially on how ESG is impacting both your organizations.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, that's it. We were here speaking at the ESG Integration and Investment Forum 2024, looking at ESG, looking at how that impacts your organization and the organizations that are here, and how that impacts Africa moving forward, and looking at issues of investment, looking at sustainability, and that this is something that we all need to get on board with when we're looking at 10, 20 years from now. The investment into ESG needs to start now, and longevity is also within that. So that's a byproduct of making sure that we're giving back in this space and wearing this lens for our organizations and how we do life and do things in general. So I do thank you for joining us. I'm looking forward to chatting to you again very, very soon and speaking more. And of course, this is the African Agenda podcast. My name is Ruth Kulaisi. We'll see you soon.